Forgot that straight across bangs almost always result in doing the high school skater boy. Let's get down to business. Hello. I think it's pretty obvious that my self-control when it comes to things that I am interested in is low. It's about as much self-control as when I drive by a field that has horses in it and try not to shout, "Horses!" That's right. Non-existent. And so this leads me to this project. So this is my first two-part project. Usually I try to cram everything into one video. It's just kind of in my like pack rat mentality. Sorry, I have to turn my recording light on because I can hear Nick talking. Turn on the red light. For the sake of giving myself enough time to do this project and not trying to rush, I wanted to turn it into two parts. So scrolling on ye old social media, a few weeks ago, I came across this image. Got my gears a-turning. I just really love books and libraries and projects that have to do with either of those. I already made a book dress. Trash can dress.
I'm the trash man.
Yeah, we're gonna make another one. The photo is from the 1930s in London. Critics are always remarking that we in this country lag far behind those of European countries when it comes to borrowing books from libraries. Well, this enterprising girl at Rumsgate solves the problem by taking her books in a rack tied to her back round the streets from door to door, and people can borrow them for a week at the price of 2p. I think I'll go more into the history of walking libraries in part 2. What I want to do, become a walking library, possibly take it out into the public. For the first part, the one of which you are watching right now, I would like to make a dress that goes alongside this bookcase on the back. And then obviously part 2, I will be building the bookcase on the back. Hopefully not one that will give me sciatica, much like when I worked at Petco as an assistant groomer. You know, they tell you to lift with your legs. All I'm saying is try to lift a golden retriever who doesn't want their nails clipped with just your knees. It's impossible. Hence the back problems I developed at the age of 21. Anyways, now for the dress, I have a general design of what I'm thinking for the bottom. The problem is I haven't really thought about the top of the dress much. Before ados are in any way furthered, let's talk about design. Diddle-a-doo, diddle-a-doo. Okay. All right. Hey, sweetheart. How you doing? I definitely want it to err on the side of dramatic, extra, as the youths would say. I would like this to be almost kind of Edwardian inspired. Just let me show you what I'm thinking. For the skirt, I definitely don't want it to be floor-length, honestly, out of convenience and also laziness. My plan, and I may regret this later, individually cut out and sort of stamp text along fabric pages. I may need to make a base skirt to attach all of these onto. The top, I don't know. Sleeveless, but then we had the pages coming out again. We could also just go puff sleeves with this too. Before we get any further with this bodice design, I think what I need to do is go assess my fabric stash, see what kind of fabric I can work with. I would do big flouncy sleeves, but I also don't want it to be too hot. I would like to avoid swamp back, swack. Let's go see what kind of fabrics I got. But before I do that, quick break, I need to water all my planty boys. I'm a bad plant mom and I was supposed to do that 3 days ago and I didn't, so. I still like to water these even though I know they're dying and I'm gonna have to throw them out. This one's just straight up dead, but for some reason I'm just like, here, have some water. Shh, that's good. Drink up. This one's my newest one. You got this, champ. Okay, fabric stash time. I definitely want something that's like kind of luxurious, but not something too busy because I know the page skirt is gonna be kind of a lot to look at. Actually, this might be nice. That'll do, pig. Frodo Baggins. Look at this mess. You don't need all of these toys out at once. Oh my god.
You got too many toys.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie. So I have the fabric. There's really no telling how it's gonna look with the skirt until I make the skirt. So I'm not gonna commit quite yet to this. Now for the skirt, this. So this is a painter's drop cloth. My new recent favorite hack. They are huge. I have already made the backdrop for my spring thrift haul video out of this. There's still so much left. I wouldn't dare make an actual piece of clothing that's gonna touch my body. Touch my body. Because it's kind of itchy, not the most comfortable. One downside of this I did notice with my backdrop is that when you cut it, it does fray. It's really not meant to be cut or used the way I use it. Luckily for me, kind of exactly what I want. I think it would look kind of cool if some of the pages were fraying at the bottom or the sides. That's amore. For the text on the pages, I've got a few different things. What I was looking for was a stamp of some sort. I've got this stamp, which looks like it's like a French kind of text. The other rubber stamp is the one from Hobby Lobby, and it's just writing. And then the other two, silicone, I think. Ooh, that feels weird. Really flaccid. I don't know that I've ever used that word in a sentence, and I'm not quite sure I want to start now. And now I think it's just a matter of getting to work. I should build the base skirt first. Doing the base skirt sounds so boring comparatively. I guess we'll do that. Pick a random fabric downstairs that I have a lot of. Handy dandy skirt pattern that I always use. So let's do that. So since my handy dandy skirt pattern looks like a rumpled up old snakeskin, I wanted to make a new template, and I ended up extending it here and here. Then I took some bed sheets that I had in my stash. If wrinkled fabric bothers you, I will fix it real quick. There, all better. Now I made sure I folded the fabric enough that I would only have to do this once, so I had 8 layers of... You know, I never get hiccups, but of course, when I have to record a voiceover, that's when they come out. Anyways, I am pinning together all 8 panels of this skirt. You get the idea. Okay, so I've got everything pinned together. Now it is time to sew. I'm still not quite back on friendly terms with my sewing machine, but I think if we're very gentle and we talk in hushed tones, I think everything will be okay. What does being a YouTuber consist of?
For every time you smile at me, you're just as sweet as you can be. When I touch your ruby lips, your kisses thrill me through and through.
All right, I sewed all the skirt panels. I'm so sorry, it's so messy in here. Oh no. I sewed all these skirt panels together and then ironed it. I know that's totally backwards of what I was supposed to do, but this is an underskirt. It's fine. It's nothing extraordinary, but you know, I didn't need it to be. Get started on laying out the size that I want the pages to be, measuring and doing all that fun stuff, which if you know me, is not my strong suit. Blue skirt dude, we can do. So I take that canvas drop cloth and I cut off sections where the seam naturally lies, just to make it a little bit more manageable. Fold it over once, and then again, so that there are 4 layers of fabric all together. And then to just get a rough estimate of how much I needed, I laid out the pages onto one of the panels, and I needed about 20 pages per panel, and there are 8 panels, so. I then had the bright idea to try to fold it over one more time so that there were 8 layers of fabric. Not my best idea. Do you want carpal tunnel? Because that's how you get carpal tunnel. But is she gonna stop? Nah. Welcome back to my channel. Do you want thick wrists? But Rachel, why don't you just unfold it and stop doing that to yourself?
Sure, I hate myself.
You know, all of yesterday and today, my forearm has felt horrible. I was like, what did I do? I didn't exercise. Ding, ding. Ding, ding. Good morning. Are you ready to kick some ass and make some pages? So that's what we're gonna do. Ow! I just went to roll up my sleeve and instead I pinched a huge chunk of skin on my arm. Why do I roll my sleeve so aggressively? I really do mean business. Let's see what we're working with. We have about 160 pages here. What are famous books that have 160 pages?
The best books under 100 pages every guy should read. Here are the first 7.
I don't know why that was so specific. Books every guy should read. Trucks. Grilling. Is this worth it for just one bit? It's not gonna stop me. Which is more pages than George Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. And now I've got to stamp every single one of these. So I think a good way to have done this probably would have been to get like a little paint roller, but I don't have that. I might go a little messier with it and just use a paintbrush and just slather. Is slather a word?
Slather has 2 different meanings. Starting with the most common one, slather can be used spread or smear a substance thickly or liberally. Is that the meaning you had in mind?
Yes, that's enough.
Do you want to hear how slather is spelled?
No. Slather's a word. Slather on some black paint onto the stamp. Hopefully it's enough to make an impression on the fabric. I kind of like the idea that some will be a little bit more faded and some will be a little bit more saturated. Move this out of the way. All right, move my rug aside, since many of you seem to be concerned about its well-being. And this living room looks like it just got hit by a super tornado, akin to what Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt courageously ventured into in the hit 1996 film Twister. You ready to test some pages? I have an inkling, pun intended, sort of, that I don't have enough black paint for this. At some point today, I may be running out and getting some more, but we'll see. So I've got my kind of janky print studio here. Slap it. Well, that didn't work. Full body on this one. Better. This one doesn't really look like a book page though. I don't really like that one either. Yeah, I like that a lot better. All right, so I think I'm gonna stick with just the writing one. I think in theory the other ones are cool, maybe for like scrapbooking or something. Looks much more like collage work just because it's so small. I don't think it's gonna quite read as a book page, whereas this one, it's kind of like a journal or a diary page, but you get what you can get. I could not for the life of me find a stamp that was just a straight up book page like you would find. This is what we're gonna go with. One down, 159 to go. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to Frankenstein this so that it is much easier. Ta-da! Okay.
eventually.
Just got like nostrils full of carbonation. That was a weird feeling. Ooh, that'll put hair on your chest, or at least make you really burpy content. Look at how carbonated my drink is. So after a few hours, I guess it's only been like an hour and a half or a couple hours, which is good. I thought this was gonna take me literally all day. I am really sweaty. I have like sweat marks. But we have around 160 stamped pages. What did I say? I stopped burping in videos because people were finding it gross. But I felt like that one needs to be kept in because I literally just predicted the future. I think I'm just gonna start pinning these to the underskirt. I start at the bottom and then just make the rows from there. Let's give it a shot. Oh, and also I only used not even all of this tube for that whole thing. I saw recently that Mercury is in retrograde, but I'm having a great day. Things are working out. Ding ding. Are you ready? Look at it! Oh, so cute! It's a little more old-timey than I initially was going for. I kind of look like Nicolas Cage is about to steal me. I think it still looks really cool, and especially if I'm gonna be having my hair kind of styled Edwardian-like. Ta-da! I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Pardon me, ma'am. Let's talk bodice. So as you saw yesterday, I did finish up most of the skirt. I struggled a little bit with what I want to make the bodice out of. My problem is the initial fabric that I chose. It's pretty. It's a pretty fabric, but I just don't think it goes with all of the crazy details at the bottom, which I kind of felt like was going to happen, much like my SodaStream burp. Manifestation, everything is coming to fruition. So then I tried this, oh my God, okay. Plain looking linen. I could do this if I wanted to. It's a little too beigey. So I kind of want to add a little bit of color. So then I tried this green velvet. I like how rich in Belle's library dress. It's stretchy. I don't do great with stretchy fabrics. Just felt like it would read a little too Christmassy. But wait, there's more. This old skirt, so then I tried that. And again, it works because it's kind of that off-white and black, so it honestly does match, but it's a little depressing. Really, really monotone and drab. The last thing I tried, and I think is what we will go with. This is another skirt that I was just gonna get rid of. I like the color, and I kind of like that it has these ridges. It kind of reminds me of like book spines. The bodice is not my main concern here. I think between the skirt and then the giant bookcase that's gonna be on my back, whether the bodice is going to be super interesting or not is not high on my priority list, so I'm going to go with this one. As far as the design, I was thinking there's this dress that the brand Of Her Own Kind makes, and I really, really, really love the bodice detail. It kind of reminds me of like a ballet outfit. I'm gonna try to replicate the bodice situation on that. I'm not sure about the sleeves. Whatever I make for the bodice has to be able to withstand kind of being pulled down a little because she thick. Let's get to work. Got a Mia. Wait, no, I need. Oh no, oh no, the indecency. Got a Mia. Got a Mia. Oh, that's harder than it looks. Stop distracting me, I have to get to work. So I took a basic bodice pattern that I had made for my measurements and I altered it a little bit to match the style of the reference picture. I then decided to do a mock-up. I will pause now for collective gasps. Okay. It sounds so cheesy, but one of my favorite things about sewing is just learning that clothing really is just shapes. So once you learn the general rule of that, you can pretty much make whatever you want. So once I laid that skirt out, this was a little bit challenging because I did have to work with the lines, and as you can see, it's already crooked here. Made sure to leave myself some seam allowance, and just kind of repeated for all of the pattern pieces. Then, following the design of that dress, I took the waistband string that came with the skirt, cut it in 4, and used it as little ties on the shoulders. I'm not gonna lie to you, this is one of those I cannot believe that actually worked moments. Look at it! It's so cute! The front's a little crooked. That's my bad, but you know what? We're gonna dazzle him and distract him with the skirt, and hopefully no one will notice. Come on, you bitch. So now that that layer is done, I should probably make a lining. Then the skirt can be kind of sandwiched in between. I really, really don't want to. Sometimes you gotta do things that you don't want to do. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'm wondering if I can just take this bodice situation and trace it, and then just use that for the lining. I know that's not what you're supposed to do. I'm gonna try that. I don't know if it's gonna work, but let's give it a shot. We interrupt this broadcast for a very important development. Look at the little baby strawberry. Oh, this is our little strawberry patch. We don't know where it came from. I'm thinking maybe someone planted it for my grandma like forever ago, but this is the first time I've really ever noticed it, and so we decided to keep it. Oh, baby strawberry. I don't think these are ever gonna get big, but you know what? I think these surprise strawberries are delightful, and I hope you do too. Okay, that's it. Back to work. Progress! The bodice is pretty much all figured out. I put the zipper on. We need to attach the skirt, which I'm a little nervous about. 'Cause like I said, she is thick, and I have a feeling it's gonna really weigh this down. Lining layer and then the outer layer I haven't attached to the bottom yet because skirt to kind of go sandwiched right in the middle like a peanut butter and banana sandwich, which if you have not had one of those, 10 out of 10 recommend. I personally got the recommendation myself from Face on Nickelodeon Jr., a connoisseur of fine cuisine. Wish me luck. We are almost done. So far, nothing has gone horribly wrong. Oh, I need some wood. Let's get to it. Okay, let's make a sandwich, and we do this by very delicately pinning the fabric in between each other. I definitely could have done this better because it came out a little lopsided, which you will see right now in the reveal. Also, my hiccups went away, just in case you were concerned. Okay, here we go. I didn't see you there. I was just reading about the hillbilly doctor. And that, folks, is what happens when you only buy old books because they look nice. Ta-da! First part of this project is pretty much complete. I have a few more tweaks to do, I think, before I wear it out, and so let's talk about that. It's a little lopsided. I got a little bit more work to do just on the waist, I think, to make it a little bit more symmetrical. That is pretty much the only thing bugging me about this, which is a very rare occasion. Everything else I am super psyched with. I think it's really cute. When I do wear this out, I think I will wear a thicker petticoat just to really accentuate the volume of this, because right now it kind of just lays flat a little because it's so heavy. The zipper is kind of ugly, but I'm, again, gonna have a giant bookcase on my back, so I don't really care. It might just be one of my favorite things I've ever made, so that's cool. I know I did say that I liked the fraying of this skirt, but it's fraying a little too much. Before I wear this outside in the wind and such, I might go over some of these pages with fray stopping spray, basically like a glue, just to kind of stop them from absolutely falling apart. There are some messy bits. Nothing I make is going to be flawless. It is what it is. I think we all have our different styles. And my style, instead of flawless, is flawful. Flawful good or flawful neutral. Thought about that play on words while I was sewing yesterday, and I thought it was pretty funny. So I wrote it down in my notebook so I would remember. Here's footage of that exact event. So this is part 1. I am going to take a week in between part 1 and part 2. Do want to film reveal of the bookcase in public, and I think maybe like a Saturday morning would be nice for that. So I kind of need a week in between to get that weekend. Anyways, I hope you had fun watching me stamp 160 freaking pages. I love you whether you're new or old to this channel. If you're new here and you feel like sticking around, feel free to subscribe. I upload almost every Friday and we have fun here. And I will see you in my next video. Bye! That was a free performance, just for you. Fun fact, Dunkin' Donuts stopped selling these styrofoam cups 2 years ago now, but Nick and I have a stash of about 4 that we have kept. And I personally plan to pass it down generation to generation. Tell me you're from New England without telling me you're from New England. Okay, libraries, style. And life will always be la vie en rose. This is probably way too close to my face. Correct. Boy, it's a big brain day. That's amore.